owes her first moment in the spotlight to Mary Tyler Moore. Before she was married with children or living by 8 simple rules, she was a singer struggling to make her name in the clubs of Los Angeles. A surprise audition changed that, and she has never looked back until now. Katey Segal tells the story of her first time.
The whole experience was a new one for me because I literally had been, most of my career had been spent as a musician.
Katy was singing in a rock and roll band, and so we would go to Club Lingerie a lot.
Well, I could barely pay my rent. I was living in this apartment in West Hollywood. My car needed to be tuned up. You know, I was struggling, but I was really in, like, you know, this sort of, you know, rock world. And I was spotted in a musical down here in Los Angeles at the Music Center.
On Monday, she went in to read for the role of Jo.
I remember going through a series of auditions.
On Wednesday, she met with Mary.
And I read with her.
On Thursday, she went in front of the network, and on Friday, she got the job.
The whole experience was so overwhelmingly like, wow, this is amazing. And then to actually get the job, I was stunned and very happy. Danny DeVito was the director, and it was Mary Tyler Moore, who I had grown up watching on television.
It was probably the Mary Tyler Moore show extended.
What are you complaining about, Ed? You get to see every show in Chicago for free.
Exactly, Joe Tucker. Every show in Chicago.
Here it comes.
Stratford-on-Avon.
And I'm new here.
Oh, how I long to see the world's greatest actors in the world's most enduring plays and rate them on a scale of 1 to 10.
I think part of the concept was what about 10 years later or so, what would Mary be like?
I was her, not really her sidekick, but I was her nemesis in the newsroom.
Who has the desk facing me?
Joe Tucker. Good luck.
You'll need it.
Joe Tucker. Isn't he that nasty, bitter man who writes the mainline Chicago column?
Yes, I am.
You're Joe Tucker?
Yeah. I don't really like being called bitter. I prefer macho. So, you're going to be doing the helpline, solving the problems of Chicagoland's great unwashed. You're not going to keep little stuffed Care Bears on your desk, are you?
Only doing this until something better comes along? Like a job in a limestone quarry.
Cigarette?
No, thank you, I don't smoke.
Oh, you might as well. You're going to die sitting across from me.
I really enjoyed meeting her. I had worked with her dad and had a great deal of respect for him, Boris Segal, the director.
You know, in growing up being the daughter of a director, I sort of knew that unless they tell you it's a problem, just carry on.
She was going up against some heavy hitters. When you're a novice and you're playing scenes against Mary Tyler Moore, James Ferrantino, John Aston, people who have been proven television stars, it's kind of tough to hold your own.
I'll never forget Mary coming over and sort of lifting my chin up because I didn't know how to be in the light. You know, they'd say, find your light, and I was like, well, what is that? You know, I had no idea what that meant.
From day one, she did a great job, and if she was really uncomfortable, we never knew.
I chain smoked cigarettes, which at that time in my life I was doing, so I kind of like blew smoke in Mary's face a lot.
It was a great character trait because what it said was, yeah, I know smoking is bad, I don't care. Ironically, for health reasons, Mary had to give up smoking right at the time that the show started production. So she probably welcomed it.
I don't suppose I could ask you...
Not if it would end world hunger. I like to smoke. You see, by nature, I'm a very private person. I don't like people or things much, so I keep to myself. It's a rather dull existence. It sort of give me a chance to live life on the edge.
Well, luckily, we were canceled after 13 episodes, and we probably ended up saving her life.
That's right. We had heard from Katy that she was a harlot, one of Bette Midler's backup singers. And we wanted the opportunity somehow to have her sing. So we constructed a story where her old boyfriend came back, and we set up that their song was a Bob Dylan song, and that her character was not used to really showing emotion, and we figured a good way of doing that was to have her alone in the newsroom singing the song. I think it's one of the best moments of the series.
I was down, you just stood there grinning. And I wish that for just one time you'd stand inside my shoes. You'd know what a drag it is to see you.
Well, I just wondered, you sure you don't want to go get a drink?
Might as well now.
I don't remember, you know, whatever boyfriend I was with at the time. That's a very different part of my life.
She had a boyfriend named Spider, which we thought was kind of unusual at the time.
Soon after I started working, I bought this red 1967 Eldorado convertible. This was so happening.
It's one of those boat cars.
It was a fantastic car.
You never buy a big item, a big ticket item on the first year of a sitcom. You've got to wait till you're on 2 years. And like Nostradamus, I was correct. We were going in 13 episodes. And I don't know if she still has that car.
Spider has it.
Spider probably has it, yeah.
At the end of that experience, you know, because it lasted 13 weeks, I really thought, okay, I better go back to my real job, which is being a singer. Because it didn't last long enough for me to actually think that this would be what I would do.
I think it was somewhat instrumental in her future success.
And it made a big difference career-wise, having had a series under your belt.
Katy seemed to do so well on her own. I mean, Katy was a natural.
I think my family was surprised. My sisters, who had been on the sitcom years before, they had their own show called Double Trouble. And all during those years, I was, you know, beating the band, trying to make records and do stuff. And I remember thinking, oh, well, that's an interesting thing that they do. And so I think they were as surprised as I was that was not only something that I ended up doing, but something that fit so well, because it was really not where I was coming from. Very soon after that, I got another job that was on television for a very long time. It changed my entire life, that job, because up until that time, I was focused on something